So I'm glad you asked the question about alkaline and acid, because another one of the most acidic foods you can eat is cooked flour products. So like crackers, bread, pasta, muffins, donuts, cakes, cookies, cupcakes, all that kind of stuff. You're like, no, don't take that away from me. Don't do it. Don't worry, we'll find you healthy replacements for all of that. And you don't, that's the beautiful thing about this program, is you don't have to give up what you love. All you have to do is find a healthy replacement for it. So if any of you have something you love that you're like, I can't do the healthy thing because I can't give this up, come talk to me and I will help you find a replacement that you will love just as much. And you can give up these things that are making you sick. I know you can. So anyway, one of those things is pasta. And I just want to show you a way you can do a pasta-like dish without using refined grains and refined flours. Just an aside to this, if you don't want to do the completely raw food version, which this is, if you need pasta, the best pasta option that I found out there is brown rice pasta. And you need to read the label really carefully, because labeling is tricky, and you can buy things that may look healthy and they may be touted as healthy, but they're not. So read the back of the package, and if it says, you know, whole brown rice and water, and that's it, that's the brown rice pasta that you want to get if you need pasta. I'm going to show you an alternative if you just want to stay away from all those cooked grains altogether. This is a 100% raw dish. You can vary it if you want it warmed up or cooked a little bit, or like exchange the brown rice pasta for what I'm showing you, the zucchini pasta. There's lots of options how to kind of mix it up and vary it, but I'm just going to show you the strictly raw food version, and I think you'll get a kick out of it, because most people are like, wow, how do you do pasta just with raw food and vegetables? And I think you'll get a kick out of this. All right. So first I want to show you a little gadget that I love. It's called a spiralizer, and can you guys see it from where can you guys see it? Is anything blocking? Okay, so you take your little zucchinis, and this recipe works really great in the summertime, like when you've got zucchinis and tomatoes coming out your ears and you don't know what to do with them all. So it's the best in the summertime when everything's in season, but I'm showing it to you now just because I want to introduce you to the wonders of raw food that is kind of tasty and different. So you just stick it in, there's little teeth in there that you stick that zucchini on. And I'm going to show you. There we go. Watch this, you're going to love it. So you just do that, twirl it, and it turns into little angel hair pasta. Do you see that? Now if you get the zucchini on there exactly right, it will make really, really long noodles like that. You see that? So when you get it on your plate, it looks exactly like angel hair pasta. And so you can use this, and the texture of the zucchini is really nice because it's not too hard to chew, and if you do it a day ahead, it kind of softens up a little bit, and it's really great. So we've got our zucchini pasta right here. That's just going to be our noodle base. Now, I leave the skins on because most of the nutrition of fruits and vegetables is in the skin. All the good stuff is in the skin. So if you peel it off, it'll make it look more like real pasta because it'll just be white. But you're also sacrificing a lot of the nutrition that's in the skin. Okay, who likes Alfredo sauce? Yay! I love Alfredo sauce, but it's dairy, and every time I eat dairy, I get, no kidding, an instant sinus infection. Like within 5 minutes, my sinuses start hurting, my nose starts running. So even though I love dairy, I've got to find a substitute to like calm my dairy craving, but still not make me sick. So I'm going to show you how to make a raw food Alfredo. Tiny stretch of the imagination to make this work. Sometimes I've been told that I shouldn't tell people like, this is raw pizza or this is raw Alfredo, because then they're expecting something and they're a little disappointed. So we'll just call this raw white sauce for zucchini pasta, and we'll leave it at that, and hopefully you're equally impressed. So I've soaked these walnuts overnight. If you soak them in a saltwater solution, that helps to dissolve all the phytic acid and all the enzyme inhibitors on the nuts, and then you rinse them off, and then you can digest them a lot better, and also the nutrients have been amplified in the nuts. So we're just going to do that, and then we're going to throw in some garlic, which is awesome for your immune system, some salt and pepper. Now this is raw pepper, so it's going to help with your digestion as well. We've got some oregano, nutmeg, and onion powder. And you guys will all get this right. Make sure you sign up on the sign-up sheet when you pay, because this is how you get the recipe book, is if you're on the sign-up sheet. Okay. Again, those herbs and spices are prebiotics. They're also antibacterial, antiviral. They help you keep healthy, and they add flavor. One thing about eating healthy is, like, people just think that health food is bland and gross. Well, let's kick up the flavor, and the way you kick up the flavor and the nutrition is with your herbs and spices. Garlic, onions, oregano, rosemary. All of these things are going to make it so power-packed full of flavor that you're not going to feel like you're deprived. Okay? Nobody wants to eat boring, bland, gross food. Everybody wants to eat yummy, like super savory, succulent, delicious food. And the only way you can do that is if you just have it bursting with flavor. Okay? What do you guys think so far? Did you taste the Alfredo? Yeah, good. So that's all. So as you can see, like, this is really quick. I'm talking a lot, but you know, take your zucchini, spin it. That takes 5 minutes. If you remember to soak your nuts the night ahead, it's just about planning ahead. Throw it in the blender, and we're just going to blend this up. And this Alfredo sauce, normally when you make Alfredo, it takes a while because you've got to cook it and boil it down, and it takes a while. And this is fairly instant. You just have to put everything in the blender and blend it. I love these little citrus juicers. They have these at Orsangigi, and they make juicing citrus really cinchy. They've got these ones, and they also have some wooden ones and some stainless steel ones. So the lemon gives it a nice tart zing, and also lemon has lots of vitamin C and antioxidants, lots of minerals. It helps you become more alkaline. So anytime you can use raw lemon, again, don't cook it, just use it raw, and it's going to have lots of health benefits for you. All right, let's make sure I've got everything in there, which I do. Now I'm just going to start out with a little water. In the recipe I say a 1/4 cup of water, and I'm just going to start out with a little. It depends on how much you soak your nuts and how thick you want it. A lot of times the zucchini pasta has a lot of water in it, so then when you put the sauce on, it kind of makes the water come out of the pasta. So I like to make my Alfredo sauce really thick, and then when you put it on the pasta, the water from the pasta kind of thins it down a bit. So I always make it a little thicker than I think I need it, and then it'll thin down with the pasta. I'm going to turn this on now. Oh, shoot. Uh-oh, what's happening? Sorry, something's happening. There we go. Now with the Vitamix, you can make this super, super creamy. If you just have a regular blender, it's going to be hard to get it creamy and kind of fool yourself into thinking it's dairy. But if you have a Vitamix, you can get it so it's creamy and succulent and just really, really delicious. Any comments about the Alfredo? Could you use that instead of a dairy Alfredo? What do you think? Yeah. You could? Could you be happy about transferring over? Now walnuts are really high in omega-3s. They're also high in components that help you with serotonin. You're improving your serotonin levels. That helps you sleep better, helps you stay calm, and what's it called? The doctrine of, oh shoot, I forget what it's called. I just had a brain fart about it. But what it means is, like, if you look at the food, it'll kind of tell you what the food does. So walnuts, think about what a little half of a walnut looks like. It looks like a little brain, right? And amazingly enough, walnuts are really, really awesome for your brain. The omega-3s feed your brain. It helps to balance your serotonin and your other neurotransmitters in your brain. This also works with things like beets. Like, if you look at a beet, it kind of looks like a heart, and beets are awesome for building your blood, for heart health, and they're bright red like blood, right? If you look at, let's see, cruciferous vegetables, this is one that I learned from I think he was called the Raving Gourmet a long time ago. He was talking about cruciferous vegetables, and if you cut them, inside of all of the cruciferous vegetables, which is onions, garlic, kale, broccoli, cauliflower, all those sulfur vegetables, you see a little cross inside of those. And that's why they're called cruciferous vegetables. And those are great for healing your body, for saving you, for rescuing you from sickness. They're great for anti-cancer. They're anti-cancer properties, antibacterial properties. For instance, garlic can be used to get rid of pretty much any kind of virus or bacteria you've got. For me, when I'm sick, like one time I had mono and strep throat at the same time. And I was really sick, and I was doing everything I could to get better, wasn't working. And I started doing this garlic treatment where you crush a clove of garlic and you mix it up with a little bit of honey, and you just take that every hour. And this mono and strep throat that I'd had for months that would not go away, in 3 days it was gone because of the amazing healing effects of garlic. So cruciferous vegetables do that to varying degrees depending on which ones you choose. And but you have to, for the garlic, you have to eat it raw. The allicin, which is the component in the garlic that has all those antibacterial properties, it decomposes after about 20 minutes. So you want to crush your garlic and eat it within 20 minutes if that's the kind of results you want. All right, so we've got this luscious, creamy Alfredo, which I think is just as good as any dairy Alfredo. Love it. And I use this with my pasta because, again, you want something that's filling, you want something that's satisfying, and you want something that just kind of sits in your stomach so you're not hungry later. So we've got the pasta, and we've got the Alfredo, and the next step is to make some marinara to go with it. Now, I love marinara. So delicious. But with tomatoes, when you cook them, all the antioxidants are destroyed with the cooking process because antioxidants, again, are super heat sensitive. So I'm going to show you how to make a marinara without cooking it, and it's going to taste just delicious as regular cooked marinara. Do you have any questions while I'm setting this up? Okay.
Would you use a kelp noodle? Or not the right consistency?
Kelp, you could. You could. If you warm them up, they kind of get soft. So kelp noodles have kind of like a crunchy texture to them. They're a little tiny bit crunchy, but they're more like rice noodles, like the ones you get in Chinese restaurants in the soup, like the clear kind of rice noodles. That's the texture they have. So I've used kelp noodles for this before, and it works out fine. Just depends on what kind of texture you want.
Did you prefer one sauce over another with the kelp?
Usually I use the kelp noodles for Asian type dishes. That's how it works out best for me. But I've known people that use them for Italian dishes as well. Okay, any other questions? Yes?
Have you seen the quinoa noodles? And what do you think?
I have not seen quinoa noodles. I would recommend looking at the back of the package and seeing what's in it. A lot of times, like for instance, soba noodles are made from buckwheat, which is fine, but they also have a lot of white flour in them too, so it's mostly white flour with a little bit of buckwheat, which makes them not so good for you. So I would check the back of the package and just see if it's made out of quinoa and water, and that's it. If those are the only two ingredients, then that would be a good option. Did I see another hand somewhere? Okay. So a really, really quick marinara. We're going to use fresh tomatoes so we can preserve all those antioxidants and vitamins. And again, this is just a super quick thing you can do. Like, if I timed myself, if I was just at home without talking and teaching and chatting with you guys, I could do this whole thing, so the marinara, the Alfredo, and the zucchini pasta in a little more than half an hour. So, so it's really possible to make this super quick. You don't have to wait for it to cook. You don't have to wait for it to, you know, it's like minimal chopping because you put it in the food processor, and super quick. These are sun-dried tomatoes. And I'm going to put these in here because the tomatoes are super juicy. Did you notice how the marinara was like really thick and chunky? Well, the only way you can do that with cooked sauce is by boiling it down and boiling all the water out of it. But what we're going to do is put the sun-dried tomatoes in there, and those will soak up all the extra moisture from the regular tomatoes, and that's what's going to make it nice and thick and kind of dark.
So did you soak those first?
No, I did not. If for other recipes, if you want them to be soft, then soak them first. But because I want them to soak up all the water out of this sauce, then I didn't soak them because I want the water from the sauce to go into them. All right, and then we're just gonna have a lemon. We use lots of lemons because as we're cooking, the way to make food taste interesting when you're cooking or when you're just doing raw food preparation is you've got to make sure you get all the flavors in there. So you need to have the tart flavor, the sweet flavor, the salty flavor, the savory flavor, and forgetting one, bitter. You can leave that one out because most people don't like the bitter flavor, but that's one of your flavors. And if you can find the perfect balance between all those flavors, that's what makes your food really delicious and it makes you want to come back for more. In the fast food industry, and I know there's chip manufacturers that do this. They hire people to find the perfect combination of fat and salt and sugar so that their food is addictive. And I know they do this with chips, they do this with fast food, and it's the sweet, the salty, and the fat combined perfectly. That's what makes food addictive. So if we can kind of replicate that in our raw food and our healthy food, not to make it addictive, but just so it's delicious and we're totally enjoying ourselves and we're enjoying what we're eating and it's so delicious we want to come back for more. That's kind of the sensation we want to get. But luckily we won't have all the addictive chemicals like the hydrogenated oil and processed salt in there. But let's go with the same idea of just making things so fabulously delicious you can't resist. Put an onion in there. Couple cloves of raw garlic. This is another way to get your cruciferous vegetables in raw without being cooked, is doing sauces like this. That was onion powder. Got some black pepper. And again, you guys are going to have all these recipes in your recipe book. This is oregano. If it was summertime, I've got herbs growing in my backyard like crazy. So if it was summertime, I'd be putting fresh oregano and fresh parsley and all my fresh herbs in here. It's so fabulous. But since it's winter, not possible. That was Italian seasoning. And by the way, herbs are super easy to grow. Again, they're full of antioxidants and they're superfoods, probiotic, prebiotic, and they're easy to grow. They're weeds. So you plant them and they just kind of like take over your yard. So be careful where you plant them. But when I started growing herbs, I thought, oh, this is going to be really hard. I don't know if I can do it. And you put them in the ground and then they never go away. So you have plenty of herbs all winter if you've got a little spot to put them. So that was olive oil and a little bit of tamari, which tamari is a soy sauce substitute. Most soy sauce has MSG in it and other harmful chemicals. So if you want a soy sauce type condiment, here I'll show you. Looks like this. Now the reason I get this brand is because it's gluten-free. That's one of the goals in this class, is to get everything at least wheat-free, if not gluten-free. And it's reduced sodium. So it has less sodium, like a third less sodium than the regular tamari, and it's also gluten-free. So if that's an issue for you, there's Sanjay. So that's a good question. My personal experience with Bragg's aminos is every time I use them, my fingers get all puffy and I just don't feel very good. I read some research on it, and the free amino acids, there's a lot of glutamine, I think, is the free amino acid, which sometimes acts the same as MSG. So a lot of the health food experts are saying to stay away from Bragg's amino acids. I would recommend it to be an intuitive eating kind of thing. Some people can totally handle Bragg's amino acids. Eat it, see how you feel. If you start feeling kind of like puffy or dragging, or your energy dips, or you start feeling not very good, like obviously your body can't handle it. Some people can, some people can't. The experts recommend not using it, but do intuitive eating just to figure it out for yourself. Okay, and then we're gonna add, so we've got, what have we got in there? We've got the sun-dried tomatoes add like a savory flavor. The garlic adds a savory flavor. We've got salt in there. We've got all of our spices. We've got a little bit of olive oil to put the fat content in there. And I'm going to put a little bit of honey in just to make the sweet balance between the salty, the sweet, and the fat. You can use raw honey, or I've also used dates in the past. If you just soak a few dates, if you don't want to use honey, soak a few dates and throw those in there, and that'll sweeten it up as well and give it kind of a rich, sweet taste that's really delicious. And let's see if I forgot anything. I don't think so. And the beauty of raw food preparation is like it's really hard to mess it up. So let's just see how this goes. No cooking, hardly any chopping, just throw it all in there. Perfect. Now we've got our white sauce, we've got our marinara, and we've got our pasta. Now this is going to be not only super flavorful, but filling, satisfying, and it's got all of your vitamins, nutrients, minerals, and it's going to make your body alkaline. And, sorry, running out of room here. Yeah, thank you. Here we have some fresh basil. Now, I've done this before where I just threw the basil in there while the food processor was going, and then your sauce turns out to be kind of like a grayish, brownish kind of color. It doesn't look very pretty. So I always chop the basil, and then you just stir it in by hand. And then if you let it sit for like an hour or two, or overnight even, the flavor from the basil just goes into the sauce, and it just infuses the sauce with that fresh basil flavor. Or you can just use it as a garnish on top. And in a past class, I showed you guys how to make Parmesan cheese out of cashews. So another dairy substitute for people like me who can't give up their cheese. And you can sprinkle that Parmesan substitute on there as well. It's made out of cashews and nutritional yeast and salt and a little bit of garlic. And it tastes just like those little cheesy Parmesan sprinkles. That will be in your recipe book as well. So just keep that in mind, that you can keep stacking on the yumminess onto your plate. What did you think about the marinara? Hey.